Hey, okay. Welcome everyone to this webinar by Two Stallions on the Digital Marketing Trends 2026. So I'm Natalia. I'm a marketing manager at Two Stallions, and joining me today are my colleagues Rick and Tyler. Okay, so yeah, we will be covering three different segments for today. Um, yeah, Rick is the head of performance at Two Stallions. So he oversees both the ads team and also our SEO team. And Tyler is our head of content and social here at Two Stallions. So he is our social media and content expert. Yes, and so this is what we'll be covering today. So I'll be starting off with the segment on SEO and AI search trends before moving on to the digital advertising trends with Rick, and we'll end off with Tyler with the social media and content trends before moving to Q&A. So we'll probably have about 10-15 minutes for the Q&A later. So because each of us only have about 15 minutes for each our segment, we won't be able to answer, I think, the Q&A right away. So otherwise we might not have time for our to finish our section. So yeah, but just pop it in there and then we'll answer everything at the end later. And I will also be sharing the slides with everybody later and the recording, maybe a few days after today. So yeah, you won't need to screenshot or anything. Yeah, you'll get the full set of slides later. All right. Okay, I will just start off. So maybe some of you might be wondering why am I doing the SEO and AI search segment? Okay, well, I'm a T-shaped marketer where my skill set is mainly in SEO and SEM. So I'm very much on like specialized in search marketing. I've been doing SEO for about 5 years, more than 5 years, starting with B2C and then yeah, for the past few years, I've been an in-house marketing manager for agencies such as Two Stallions and also another agency previously where I've been in charge of the agency's own SEO. And I can tell you that that is probably one of the hardest industry to do SEO because everybody else you're competing with are experts in the field. But yeah, definitely learn a lot there. All right, so I popped in a poll, okay, earlier. If any of you have, let me see. Oh, okay, none of you have answered yet. If any of you can help me to answer that, that would be great, so that we can get, I think, some answers for some examples for that. Let me see. Okay, okay, yes, yes. Hold on. Sorry, give me a sec. I am just. Okay, hey Yash, sorry, would you be able to okay, how do we see the sorry, let me ask my colleague. How do I see the result of this poll, Yash? Would you be able to help to point me out?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay, yeah, so the question that I popped in earlier is how would you search for these things today? Can be let's say you need a new pair of sneakers or you're looking for a lawyer suddenly or you are looking you're searching for a software for your work like a productivity software or if you work in HR like a HR software, CRM software. Yeah, so just where would be the first channel that you would look for that? Okay, polls, quizzes. Okay. I think I will just end the poll to see the results. Okay, share results. Oh yeah, sorry, I figured that out. Uh, hey Yash, sorry, did you figure out yet how to see the results? Okay, I can see it now. Can All of you see, okay, so I see it now. Some of you answer ChatGPT. Okay, some of you say Google, Tokopedia, Shopee, ChatGPT, Google, Gemini. Okay, Google, ChatGPT, Google. All right. So I think a lot of you, the most common ones, a lot of you say Google is the most common one, followed by ChatGPT. And then after that, it's all the different marketplaces. I mean, Gemini, and then all the different marketplaces such as Shopee, Tokopedia. Yep. So, come on. Yep. So yeah, it's uh, how, yeah, there are so many different ways people can search when they're looking for a product or service today. But yeah, one of the question that okay, what I often see in social media nowadays, you might see a lot of people posting like, oh my God. Okay, since because of AI, SEO is dead. Uh, if you are a business, you have to be an AI now or you are done because that is the place to be. Yeah, so how many of you have seen some of those posts on LinkedIn or social media or just blogs in general? Yeah, so the thing is, yeah, so the truth is actually Google and SEO are definitely not dead. Just from the poll earlier, Google is still the number one place that a lot of you search. And this is also based on this data from Search Engine Land. Yeah, they are one of the main, yeah, like one of the main thought leadership platform for SEO. Yeah, so they shared this data late last year that okay, about how many people actually search on Google versus Bing, Yahoo, ChatGPT. Okay, so Google, Bing, Yahoo, ChatGPT are search engines. That is what we target in traditional SEO. So you can see here, Google is still handling 200 and about 210 more searches than ChatGPT. And even the other smaller search engines are still handling more searches than ChatGPT. So yeah, it is really not dead, definitely not dead. And myself as an in-house marketer, I track all the sources of the leads and inquiries that come to Two Stallions. And yeah, from my own tracking as well, I can see that majority of our leads still come from Google, and followed by general brand awareness and also yeah, ch ChatGPT. But yeah, Google is still the main driver of revenue, sales, and leads for a lot of businesses, including ours. Yeah, so okay, hold on. So and this is another study by NP Digital, Neil Patel Digital, on how many people search on ChatGPT versus Google. So if you can see here, yeah, the ChatGPT is yellow and Google is red. So more people search in ChatGPT for informational searches. They prefer it. So these are things like, how do you fix a broken lamp? To what is AI SEO? Explain me what is this, how to do this, the what, how. Yes. But when it comes to navigational, this is when you need to, for example, you want to visit the company of this website, but you're not sure how the website is spelled. So you just type in the company name on Google to find the website. Yeah, so that is what we call navigational search. Yeah, so commercial is when you are specifically searching for a specific service or specific product to with a buying intent. Like you want to compare and research and eventually contact or choose one of them. Yeah, so that's commercial. Transactional is when you already know what you want and you just want to go ahead to buy. Yeah, so you can see, and even though ChatGPT dominates for informational searches, Google still dominates for commercial and transactional searches, which is the main driver of leads and revenue. Yeah, so yeah. So basically SEO is definitely not dead. A lot of those, I think, posts that you see about AI, SEO is the only thing that matters now. I believe they were created more for sensational reasons as well. They wanna they need to shout out something a bit more something like that to get more views and engagement on their content as well. Okay, but not to say that AI has no impact on SEO. Yeah, so definitely in Two Stallions and other SEO agencies, today we do see reduced traffic and clicks on individual website and blog pages. This is actually more because of AI overview than ChatGPT, because now if you type in, even though Google still dominates, um, when you type in to a search on Google now, a lot of the time AI overview gives really good answers that doesn't require you to scroll past it. Yeah, and because of that, yeah, we do see less clicks on individual blogs. So now the key is how you can show up in this AI overview, okay, which we'll talk about later. And so now we have our new goal is not just the new goal in SEO is to rank for as many keywords as possible. But now and that is still important, but now another goal is also to show up in AI, to be mentioned in AI, whether when somebody's searching, oh, what's the best Japanese restaurant in Singapore or Malaysia, you want your business to be recommended there. So you want your brand there, or if they are searching for specific info, you want your blogs that about that info to be referenced there. So yeah, so it still has changed a bit, and we do still have to adapt our strategy. But contrary to what those sensational blog and LinkedIn posts might say, usually how they go is that they would say that, oh, okay, this is you want to show up in ChatGPT, this is what you need to do, and they would, list down, let's say, five few things. Or okay, you do this, and then you will show up. Okay, to be honest, it's not that simple. And another thing is that the people who actually practice SEO and know SEO, when they see those lists, we know that those things that are cited there are actually already part of traditional SEO. So the most common one that are usually mentioned as, what you need to do to rank in AI is content that shows authority and are comprehensive, okay, and written in a structured format, like with headings, tables, FAQ sections, rather than a big wall of text, schema markup, and just having more backlinks and brand mentions. These are actually already part of what uh, we work on in SEO campaigns, but it's just now these few factors become extra important for AI. So the new framework for SEO is basically we need to cover both search engines like Google and also the different AI answer platforms like AI Overview, ChatGPT, Gemini, and yeah, and actually um what is said by SEO experts from Hrefs and also from my own experience as well, doing SEO and getting our content and pages to be mentioned in ChatGPT is that actually to show up in AI engines, you just need basic SEO and good content. And of course, you need to have enough domain authority as well. Uh, and yeah, so yeah, to basically to show up, and this is said by um in a Hrefs webinar that I also saw recently as well, and also a number of SEO experts. Yeah. So basically you gotta cover your basic SEO foundations. These four circles here highlight the areas of SEO that are the main areas of SEO that is usually covered in SEO campaigns by for example, when you hire an SEO agency, so they will create you need to create content. Yeah, content is still very important if you just want to show up anywhere, whether it be blogs, YouTube videos, infographics. Yeah, you need to be out there, and by creating more content, you establish yourself as an authority. And you still got to do your on-page SEO, such as keyword research, to figure out what topics people are actually looking for and to create content based on that. and to optimize your metadata and page content. And technical SEO is to improve your website, the technical aspects of your website, such as it needs to load fast. This is important for both search engines and AI because AI, this is for AI, once you type in your question, you they are expected to return the answer as fast as possible, right? If they are going on that thinking mode for a bit too long, you're also going like, you're getting a bit impatient. So to be able to answer fast, they prioritize fast loading websites and pages. So if they need to just retrieve the content from your page really fast to be able to return the answer. So if your pages are too slow, it is less likely to be accessed by by AI. And schema markup is yeah is this uh, it's a back end like tags. You need to mark up like different sections of your content. Like if, for example, you own a food blog, you need to say, oh, this is a recipe content. Oh, this part is the FAQ. This is a blog article. So it's like a code that instantly tells AI what kind of content it is. Yeah, so it's important for both search engines and AI. And last one is off-page SEO, building backlinks uh, and brand mentions, which I will go into. This is probably the most, or one of the most, or if not the most important SE factor for SEO today. Yeah. So before, SEO used to be about putting in keywords, optimizing for keywords as much as possible. But today, that has changed. Both search engines and also AI engines are prioritizing influence, like how influential your brand is. And they get this signal from brand mentions and backlinks. So, brand mentions is basically how often other third-party websites, social media, just everywhere on the internet mentions your brand. And whether it be influencers, websites, yeah, lists, and backlinks. Okay, just to explain what is a backlink is when another website, like let's say this is SEMrush, the SEMrush listicle, they mention your brand and then they add a link to your website. So if I click on this, it links to this Two Stallions website. That is the link. For brand mention, they might just mention Two Stallions without adding the link. Yeah, so okay, backlink is might still be more important, but then it is yeah, so both AI will pick it up basically. So yeah, it's important. These are a lot of the places where it's important for your brand to show up, to send the signal to AI that you are a trusted brand and an authority in your niche that is worth mentioning or recommending. So it can be best of lists, such as if you search for let's say best HR software, you might see these lists. You have these lists for everything, basically, such as five best HR management tools in Singapore, Reddit. Yeah, so yeah, Reddit is also important. So try to get on, these top ranking lists as much as possible. For this one, sometimes if they are created by a competitor, such as this one is created by like another HR firm, they might not want to mention your brand. But you can try to ask. But then those that are submitted by third party, platforms such as Smart Local, you can probably, yeah, ask them what is needed to be included. And other things, okay, let me just go back to my presentation. Industry directories, such as the SEMrush agency listing is also a directory. There's probably there's different directories for different industries. So you need to figure out, what is the most relevant platforms where businesses in your industry show up. So they'll be different for an F&B business versus if it's a HR software, it'll be like Capterra and G2. Yeah, so yes. And third-party websites, basically any other websites mentioning your brand is taken as a signal that, okay, your brand is probably something quite good. And social media mentions. So if let's say, yeah, Reddit and Quora are ultra important for AI nowadays. So the more that, people in Reddit mention your brand, yeah, or somebody might recommend it on LinkedIn or YouTube. Yeah, the AI will pick that up, and search engines too, and they will take it as another signal that your brand is, yeah, worth mentioning. And customer reviews. Okay, so AI also picks up how many reviews your business gets and what is the rating. And yeah, so based on, okay, what and how many awards you win, and then if you have influencers, let's say YouTube influencers or other influencer talking about your brand, they pick that up too. So basically, yeah, think of AI as like an extension of a human. When you search for, what's the best business or product that I should go for, you go to search engine or social media and you scan through all these signals and you generate like a feel of which one is the most credible business. So AI does the same, but just in a matter of seconds rather than a whole day. So yeah, besides Google and AI, people can also search on YouTube, TikTok, Marketplace, and voice search. So yeah, and it depends on your business. So you need to prioritize the engines that you should optimize for, depending on where your audience tend to search. So yeah, that brings me to the last slide. So basically, for today's SEO, it's not just about keywords like it used to be traditionally. AI engines and also search engines have become a lot more sophisticated that you can't just do a few simple tricks and then they to get your brand to show up. It is a lot of work, and you basically need to be just out there and visible and mention as much as you can in as many platforms as possible to create that signal that you are a leader in your industry. Yeah, so basically they accumulate the signals of who are the most prominent players in each industry or vertical. And yes, they recommend that. And you gain this not just by doing SEO, but doing just generally more marketing and just being out there, and also being a good business that serves your customers well, that will help you to accumulate more reviews, more mentions, and more visibility as well. Okay, so that is the end of my segment. Okay, I'll pass you over to Rick now.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Nat, for for the presentation. Hang on, let me. All right. So today I will be covering what the digital advertising trend across this Southeast Asia specifically. So there are actually 76% of ad spend which is fall under digital. So the other non-digital like the TV or the newspaper, people are still doing that. So the billboards, all these are offline. So there are 76% are still the ad penetration is basically ad spends digital. So on the global scale, is that they reach 11 trillion on 2026 is the projected figure. So for Singapore and Malaysia specifically in 2025, they estimate to reach, already spent above 2 billion each. So these are the paid ads for. So in currently right now there are the AI shift beside SEO. There are also AI shift in ads as well. So part of the ads is actually the trans is related to the when you are at the back end of the ads. So basically the ad platform is actually enhancing their campaign operations. So one of it is Google introduced a function called AI Max, which one of the use cases is Shopee using the AI Max achieve 2x conversion, 2 times conversion with a reduce of 23% of cost per acquisition and 49% of ROI in within that 5 weeks. This is within the Southeast Asia. So AI Max is more, you can reach a good result if you are e-commerce. All right. So as well as the Meta. So for Meta, right, actually they aims to automate the algorithm like ad creation and ad targeting using AI fully. All right. So they aim to do this, execute this algorithm, this AI automated by end of 2026. For video automation, you can expect like within like 2026, 40% of the video ads will be generated by AI, and also the new creative priority will be AI will be handling the AI optimization part of the scope, while human will focus more on the strategy and the cultural resonance. Right. So the macro shift defining in 226, right, is basically three things. So first is the algorithm, which is the back end where marketers will actually the businesses will use it to advertise. So 76% of the ad spend will be forecast to be algorithm driven. So you forecast that this will go up to 76% by 2028. So also the retail media will be exploding on this segment. It will be a fastest growing segment. Yeah, wait, hang on. You'll be a faster growing segment at 14% with an annual growth. And the last but not least, with all these functions, right? So, sorry, with all these functions, right, the first party data, PDPA becomes the first party data collection becomes mandatory. It's very important for client or and the user itself to give you consent to advertise to them. All right. So yeah, one of the we deep dive into every segment. So one of the segment we would like to cover is the Google Ads strategy. So one of the Google Ads strategy that we find is actually the search still converts well, but due to high intent, but usually cost more. You'll be more expensive lah, basically. So the Google P Performance Max still scales wide and can reach a wide audience, but the lead that generated from there is still varied. So generally PMax is very good for awareness at the top funnel level. And then the next one will be the leverage AI Max for e-commerce. Just as I mentioned, if you are running e-commerce, AI Max, Google AI Max is is suitable for your business to use AI Google AI Max to run it. So and then broad match keyword can actually drain your budget but and pull in a lot of low quality traffic if you don't set any negative keyword. So if you set any broad match keyword right in Google SEM, right, so you make sure you just refine it with your negative keywords. Then if let's say if you don't use broad mesh, you can just directly use phrase mesh or exact mesh. That will be great as well. So choose either one. You can still ensure to refine your traffic to your website with the correct intent. So one of the hack right that we find out is actually we use LinkedIn data to actually create a custom audience and use that custom audience to to do a PMS targeting within the Google network. Yeah, so that is quite useful because that will reduce the time spent of us reaching to the right audience, So your business right audience. So although AI overviews still expanding in Southeast Asia, but we still can win with ads lah. Okay, so the next is we'll cover is why YouTube still relevant in Southeast Asia because right now YouTube still deliver higher ROI compared to TV and still create a higher trust towards the content creators with more personalized content, and also it can scale with TV. Nowadays when you buy any new TV, right, LCD TV or quad LED TV, so QLED TV. So this kind of TV, right, will actually pre-install the smart TV already pre-installed with this Netflix, YouTube app in it. So these kind of things is already like automated. Yeah. You can reach out to the right audience within their household. So the next is we'll look into the TikTok. Why brands we saw a surge in brands investing in TikTok, mainly because Gen Z, they want to target Gen Z crowd and millennial crowd. So in Singapore and Malaysia, Singapore, you can reach 5.6 5.16 million audience in TikTok for Gen Z and millennial, while Malaysia is 23.6. So on globally, it stands at 24% or on the overall total TikTok or ads audience. So we just on ads itself, within ads itself, beside ads, right, TikTok also embed TikTok Shop native where the user or the clients can actually place an order within that space and check out all natively within the TikTok ecosystem. So this kind of social commerce, right, in Southeast Asia is projected to reach 100 billion. So by 2026. So is also if let's say one of your audience is Gen Z millennial, so you might want to look into it. Yeah. So as for LinkedIn, it's still relevant. It's mainly for B2B, mostly it's for B2B professional. You want to reach out to professionals or decision makers within your niche. So it is still relevant. So we can still see at two conversion rate at two times. If compared with other B2B platform, you can still see a five times conversion if you use LinkedIn lead gen form as compared to landing pages. So the increase also we can see an increase in purchase intent by 30%. Nowadays, 40% of the B2B marketers still choose LinkedIn as their primary channel. All right. So for Microsoft Edge, it's part of the untapped opportunity, an alternative towards Google. So if you use this to reach out to a wider audience, you can see a 30% to 70% lower CPC, and also you can access to 700 unique searches with natively integrated LinkedIn data such as job role, company, industry. So it means you can target them quite fairly easily within Microsoft Ads Manager. All right. So as for Meta strategies, so basically just like I mentioned that on the earlier slide, Meta start to roll out the fully automated thing by end of 2026. That algorithm is called Andromeda. So it powers delivery all Meta ads. All right. So also Meta ads looking at partnership, more and more partnership ads. So this partnership ad can help you deliver a 60% lower CPR, 13% higher OS. So within in Meta ecosystem, like creative is always the key. It's still some creative is still matter more than restrictive targeting. So a lot of if you do strong create, if you use creative to filter out your audience, that will be the best. So also we also see that user-generated content consistently outperform those polished brand creative. And also, last but not least, video still deliver a lower cost per lead as compared to static image ads. So if you are in skincare or beauty industries, we also notice that the audiences, right, before they place any order, they will like to connect with you via WhatsApp or make an initial inquiries upfront before they make any purchase decision. So it's best for you to have a live chat if within your website itself. All right. So programmatic ads, we would like to touch this a little bit on this. So programmatic ads in Asia Pacific, the ad spend is reached at 300 billion. So on the retail media, like Shopee, Lazada, Tmall, it's still the fastest growing. And for programmatic within the connected TV like Netflix, HBO, is on 128% year-on-year growth. All right. So it's still relevant. So the most anticipated channel, which is the ChatGPT ads, which is going to come out, roll out soon. But right now it's on early stages in US, not open for advertiser yet. So you'll be so we shall see that this opportunity can help us to reach out to another new types of demographic of audience, where new visibility in AI answer, and also usually early adopters for this kind of like any new platform that come out in the market will usually get the benefit of lower cost per impression and also less competition, just like how when Meta launched on many years ago. Yeah. So the ad platform that we recommend for dependent on business types. So if you are in B2C, you should consider Meta Ads, TikTok Ads, YouTube Ads, Google Ads, or Microsoft Ads. Yeah. So if you are in B2B, is LinkedIn Ads, Google Ads, YouTube programmatic, and also Meta Ads. All right. So, and lastly, this is my last slide. So actually, the key takeaways for what works in 226, right, is basic for paid ad is basically AI drive efficiency, or they automates the optimization. So but you need to keep the human focus, the strategy, the storytelling part, the creative side of things. But the AI will drive efficiency for you. So you should combine human element with AI together. And also measurement nowadays must involve, last time we only track conversion, just conversion, don't need to care for which attribute, which channel they convert. So nowadays you need to track that as well. Like for example, if this conversion come from Facebook, if this conversion come from Google that you advertise, or could this conversion come from organic traffic, you will want to know about all these kind of things. So so that you can plan your resources, which resources you should allocate more towards. And then the last but not least actually is integrated multi-channel strategy, which is right now any people right now who are using internet, we all of us we are using more than one app on our mobile. So you usually go to many platforms before you make any decisions. So usually it's a one cohesive customer journey. So brands or companies should actually uh allocate the resources, correct resources at the correct place. All right. So, yeah, that will be the end of my side. So I will pass it to the next panelist, which is Tyler.
Okay, hello everyone. Hope you all had your lunch or are currently having your lunch if you're having a late lunch. All right. So since we're running this webinar, like, I think for some time already, I'm aware that maybe some of you might be feeling a little sleepy. Can I just get a quick reactions or like a thumbs up if you're still here with us? Alrighty, I see. Okay, thank you. Thank you for confirming, right? Because sometimes, the thing about webinars, right, is as different from like a physical preso. I can't really see you guys, so I'm gonna need like reactions to know that I'm still here with you guys, right? In case I'm lagging as well. So, okay, cool. I think while we were approaching this topic, I'm aware that we have quite a mixed room here. So I think some of us were quite new to content. Some of us we're quite seasoned with it already. So for those of you who are more seasoned, some of this might seem obvious to you already, but I would go into a little bit more depth towards the later part of my slides, right? So just as a quick palette cleanser for us, right, to go into the content side. There are two videos here I want you guys to watch and just quickly comment in the chat later what comes to mind, yeah? So let's go quickly share this with you guys. Okay, I think that's enough of the first video. So there's an argument in the MRT somewhere in Singapore, right? And this was on Channels News Asia. So just a quick one word or two words in the chat, just to let me know what do you guys think about the video, right? So while you're typing, I'll play the second one. Yeah, so the second one is a little bit of a gotcha moment for you guys, lah. I think it's been a while you've been listening, a little reward for some entertainment for your afternoon this day. So yeah, I think just a quick look into the chat. Again, which of the following contents do you prefer? Like between these two, what would you guys think? All right. I think I'll proceed first while you guys are typing. Um, so basically, these are two very different skill of contents, right? So one is more reporting, informative, letting you know what happened and stuff like that. The second content is a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, right? So apart from me making you watch them, why else will you watch these videos? There are a whole bunch of reasons, and it's usually a combination of reasons that makes your content engaging and make it. Some people want to engage with read, whether it's to empathize with it, whether it's to appreciate the very aesthetic photo you posted, for example. There are multiple reasons that people connect with content. So just gonna quickly glance through the beginning portion. Just for those of you who are newer to content, just to make sure you'll be able to follow us as we go around the rest of the slides later, because I will be talking about some formats. Um, there's basically five big reasons if I to really zoom out on everything and um, try to encapsulate everything to like big picture why people engage with your content. It's basically boils down to five motivations, right? So one, of course, if it's educational, there's something they can learn from it. There's something that's informative, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's something I didn't know, and now I do. Educational, that's something people engage with. If it's entertaining, of course, like the penguin thing, you put your fingers on the screen, and then suddenly it debates you into a reaction. You know, yeah, it's kind of a gotcha. You're like, okay, that was kind of funny. Then you give them a like. That's kind of like, how the content ecosystem works, right? For entertainment content. Motivational. So if they're looking to, let's say, I'm sure, this is January, right? So January, February, March, we all know it's like the season for gyms to sell their membership, stuff like that. So anything that's motivational, right? To push people forward, or maybe you're having a bad day, you just want to watch something that will, lift your spirits a little bit. That's kind of the another motivation, right? So if they feel motivated after watching your content, that's another reason they might want to leave a comment to thank you, or otherwise share what they've kind of learned from it. So that's another reason to engage with your content. If it's convincing, so this is particularly for, let's say, I don't want to say sales-driven content, but outcome-driven content. So if you're driving them to, let's say, participate in your giveaway, if you're asking them to just drop by the store or get a first free consultation with you, it has to be a convincing enough argument for them to be like, you know what, I might. Then they'll engage with the post or they click the link to take them to the main page, for example. Right. And of course, I think this is bigger now with the Gen Z and now Gen Alpha rising in the industry as well. Connection. So it's more about the vibes. It's about, clicking mentally. So some of you may not have liked the humor of the penguin content earlier, and some people do, right? So that's kind of the connection content that goes with it. So you vibe in terms of the sense of humor, or you vibe in terms of, let's say, a perspective on who you're aligning with on the MRT with the reaction, so on and so forth. So it's also because people find connection through your content that they engage with you. Right, so just five big principles very quickly. If you have any questions, dump in the Q&A. I'll address it later after the talk, yeah? So I'll move on to the content formats because I think this is the meat and potatoes of my segment here today. Starting with B2B. So B2B and B2C content are same but different in the sense that you would use very similar content for certain purposes, but the objective and intent has to be different. So I think with a lot of B2B content nowadays, from what we notice, let's say both in terms of conversion and let's say in terms of education of our customers and our audiences for our clients as well, blog articles play a very big part because it's a savability thing. And I know some people might think, why would anyone want to want to read blog articles when they can just scroll through a 1 minute TikTok nowadays? True, but there's still a readership market. People still sell books. People still consume information through reading. And having one that is worthy of them continuing to engage, whether you turn into a newsletter type situation or if it's a blog that people would subscribe to and they'll keep tuning in every day or every week to see a new content, for example, it matters. So you have to know your customers. If they are the type that would have, a lot of investment in the purchase, typically blogs would help. So second to that, I think particularly for, let's say, confidence for B2B on LinkedIn in particular, real faces behind the brand do matter. Reason being, I think now, especially with AI, right, there's so much AI slop in the content world now, that sometimes people are afraid that if I don't see a face to the brand, it could be a scam, or it could be, a scammer trying to look legitimate through a company and stuff like that. So there are doubts that people might have, especially for B2B, because the character damage that comes with working with a company that is not very credible. For example, like biggest example in our century, I think probably Theranos would be one of them. Yeah, people will be a bit concerned. So showing the real faces behind the brand, what you're doing, that slight transparency does work to instill some confidence. So this means including photos in your content that you post online, or having like group photos to post up on your LinkedIn, or even on your company page, right, to show the people behind the work. I think that matters, right? And of course, I think this is a content that does well both on LinkedIn and also Instagram. Carousel or video guides, especially if you have a tech-driven sort of product. So things like walkthrough videos, the how-to flows, like if you want to, let's say, make a claim on your HR app, for example, or if you want to, let's say, search or navigate for properties in the area on this property app that we have, for example. All of this that requires simplifying the complexity of your product or service, carousels and videos do work really, really well. Infographics. This is more if you are trying to get thought leadership. I think you want to do industry snapshots, um, something like that. Something about infographics that make it very easy for people to engage with and to appreciate is, you have, of course, your dashboard of, statistics, everything else, how you've broken down, and it's all in one page. They don't even need to swipe, they don't need to scroll. Everything is there, and they can probably consume it in like maybe for fast readers, maybe 5 minutes, and then they'll think about it, and then maybe 10 minutes, they're done with the thought. So it's a very quick, simple, easy, savable, and shareable type of content that people might want to repurpose as well. And in the past, I've had some clients who had other brands kind of rip our infographics to use on their own social medias. Um, to me, that's kind of a win because that means we're producing good content that they really want to share. So I just engage with them like, oh yeah, thanks for sharing it. Appreciate the tag next time. Things like that. So we can build relationships through our content as well, right? So that's infographics, carousels, faces behind brands, and blog articles. Mainly for B2B, we notice quite a bit of success with these particular tweaks as well. Okay, so on to B2C, right? So these are for those of you who are maybe in the retail side, F&B, um, malls management, for example. Um, I think a lot of the B2C content nowadays are typically a little bit more fun. You have to be entertaining. It's part of the content DNA that has to be there that people want to engage with. So of course, memes are meta, especially cat memes, right? If you want to talk about reach, visibility, I think there's a whole page, there's a few pages on social media, for example, with, I think there's one called Cats with Hard Hats. It's an actual page. You guys can look it up. Um, where it's just this cute cat with a hard hat is educating you about very complex things like your finances, how to do your taxes, and stuff like that. It's wild, but if you want to appeal to the younger audiences, it's what works. It's really what works, man. You need to come with the memes, and it can't be tried and true things that are used in the past. It kind of has to be original and very brand focused for it to be accepted well. Because sometimes what companies try to do is they stay very safe with their memes, and then it kind of lands mid, and then people just don't engage with it, and they kind of punish the algorithm by saying like, oh, you're posting a lot of content, people are just not engaging with your memes. It's not funny. We're just going to stop recommending it. So we're at the mercy of the algorithm after that, right? I think review shorts, especially if you are product focused. So let's say even for F&B, right? Having content where people are reviewing your food, whether it's a taste, flavor profile, slurpability of your noodles, things like that, right? Make people really want to engage with uh, or can imagine the experience with your product or your service as well. So the experiential vibe to the review content is what we notice people specifically pick up on. So even if you're just sitting here talking about a product, like I can sell you, for example, um, like my mouse, right? So I can talk to you about the mouse and all that with just me as a talking head. Last time on YouTube, for example, that would work, but not really anymore. Now it kind of has to be from the POV perspective of the consumer and you holding the product and they can imagine them holding it. So for example, like this frame for Jisoo Life, I think this is done by an influencer. The hand is holding the fan, and it's as if the angle of where your thumb is on the screen of your phone, if you were to hold it, for example. So most of you scroll, your right thumb is positioned specifically that way. So things like that, POV, more relatable for the consumer. That's kind of what sells well for the review shorts. Experience shorts, again, this is the only slight difference from between these two, right? Is this is more service driven. Review shorts are more product driven, I would say. So experience shorts, for example, is kind of see the treatment you get. So for example, right, this example here is from a store where it kind of shows you the perspective of if you're a customer ordering from this store, how this this lady will greet you like, oh, this is the dishes that we have. They'll show you through and everything. So it's also part of the welcoming vibe that makes you want to go and visit and check it out, right? So again, it's all about the experience of the consumer as they consume your content. That'll make them want to go. Because again, the difference between B2B and B2C is your customer cycles are drastically different. B2B, you have a longer sales cycle. Sometimes even for 2 years, right? You keep beating the same lead. B2C is very snap judgment focused. So if you lose them on each of your contents, they probably will just go to a competitor. So B2C is a bit more brutal in the sense that you need quick wins a lot. So it's either they can imagine themselves in the shoes using your product or trying your food or trying your service, or they can't, right? And interactive shorts is, I think, a format that has really blown up recently, and not the contents, not the platform specific ones, but the kind of formats where you don't have to rely on the platform you're posting it on. So, for example, I can click on this one for you. Yeah, so it's like put your hand like this, and now it looks as if you're holding the hair of the little penguin, and then it got ripped off. Um, but yeah, so it's basically again highlighting that how easy it is for people to interact with the content in a new way. So while it's not as measurable in terms of, let's say, likes, comments, for example, um, you'll notice it change in the dwell time on the video or the watch time of the video. So if people like, hold it like that and then they just like, oh, it's funny, and then they let it keep replaying, that adds to your watch time. It promotes your content on the algorithm as well. So it's pretty fun. Like if any of you want to try like interactive type of shorts, I totally recommend it for B2C. People do spend a lot of time on this from what I've studied from different channels. Cool. So what was trending in 2025? I'm just going to quickly gloss over this because I think a lot of you would have opinions on this already. AI-driven copywriting was a big thing when, as ChatGPT started growing, DeepSeek, for example, Claude became a thing. Um, so it became more technical and more precise with the help of AI, right? If you're writing about topics that require expertise, AI-assisted content has become quite a norm in 2025. Interactive content formats, like I mentioned earlier, like the things like, they say blow on your screen or move your thumb according to the beat. I'm sure you guys have seen content like that. It has done really well last year. Micro and nano influencer campaigns. I think a lot of people have been shifting towards micro and nano influencers as opposed to celebrity endorsements in their content. Not only because of cost concerns, but I think also because they realize that micro or nano influencers have a tighter following. It's really the following that is their friends and family and all that. So they will feel more compelled to support the content only because of the person, not necessarily because of the product. Which is good and bad, but if you're an experiential based product and you want to get people on board, yeah, micro and nano influencers tend to have better returns per spend, let's say. NTA and people first movements. You guys would have probably, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but just show of hands if you have. Um, Anti-AI content was a big thing for even brands like Apple last year, because again, with every time there's a trend going this way, there's also a trend trying to short the market or go the opposite direction. So I think Apple had some success with one of the ads they ran last year where they showed the behind the scenes, nothing is AI, everything is people driven. So that was a very forward messaging that I think worked pretty well for brands who wanted to contrast the AI growth, let's say. So predictions for 2026. Now, I think a lot of this stuff is very hard to predict for content because it is very intangible. Some people come up with different trends that would skew it a different way. But for now, that's what I think we'll see a lot more of in 2026. So AI human co-creation, because last year what we noticed was there's a divide, right? People are concerned that AI is taking jobs. People are, especially those who are very art, I'll say the art loving community didn't like that AI was kind of taking over some of the creative freedoms and stuff like that. But now we see an emergence of creators who are assisted by AI in their workflows, or they'll generate certain elements in, let's say, their videos or their visuals or in the art that they create. Part of it is also AI generated, but they enhance it and then they work around the frame, for example. So a lot of the idea generation is definitely, I think, some things people bounce ideas with AI, um, cleaning up the workflows, etc. We'll see a lot of that in 2026. Um, Increasing polarization again between the anti-AI and pro-AI content, because while there will be a converging trend where people would co-create with AI, there'll also be those who would want to make use of the brand positioning um, to go with AI or against AI to strengthen their brand positioning with certain consumers. Um, so how you use that really depends on what you intend to achieve with your brand. My general advice is if you are not too sure which side of the fence you're on, better avoid the topic altogether, in my view. Um, I think we'll see a comeback of UGC content and nano influencers because of the use of AI and everything else. People are concerned about, like nowadays you can even have AI avatars um, that you can do like a motion capture sort of deal with, where you just act as if you would on screen and you can just layer on an AI of a different person over you. So you can become a VTuber in a sense. So I think we'll see a lot of usage of nano influencers because of that and UGC because the authenticity and the human element is undoubtedly there as well. And we'll definitely have to keep an eye out for rise of synthetic engagements. We actually noticed this a bit last year already, where we noticed bots responding in comments, especially on LinkedIn. So sometimes when you read the comments, it's like, yeah, it's a bit off topic, or we notice it seems quite robotic. Yeah, so we'll have to be, and we noticed that same comment that people had, other people posted the same comment in the same comment thread as well. So it's a bit wild that we have synthetic engagements going through and affecting our numbers. So something to keep an eye out because that could skew your perception of your audience and what your consumers really want to engage with as well. So just be careful of that and make sure that you contra that off in your the reporting later. Right. So I think that's pretty much the content trends, and we'll move on to Q&A.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. All right, we have a few minutes left, so I'll just let's go straight to the Q&A. Okay, so I think based on the timing it's sent, I can probably the first one was for my segment by Benjamin. Okay, for B2B and B2C, where do these people look out for the most based on your experience? Okay, so for this will really depend. Okay, so in the context of SEO and AI search. This will really depend not just B2B or B2C, but your specific industry. Because, for example, my first industry was in fashion bridal. And I remember a lot of the leads came from both Google and social media, such as IG, particularly IG. IG is very big for fashion. So a lot of people discover, fashion brands from IG. But when I moved on to healthcare, which was also B2C, there was very little result from social or IG. If you think about it, if you're looking to go to, let's say, a TCM or a doctor, you would search for it on Google. You would not search on IG. For a lawyer, you will not go to IG or TikTok to search. You will go to Google. So it will differ between different industries in B2C or B2B. For B2B, it really depends as well. A lot of some businesses like digital marketing agency, let's say accountancy firms, they have a lot of people. They have high search volume, so it's worth spending a lot of effort to on SEO and AI SEO to show up on Google. Because yeah, people would naturally go to Google to search. But then, okay, for certain kind of a B2B business is very relation people discover it more from their network or recommendations or or events. So those, if you have very little people searching, for your kind of service or product in Google, maybe not worth investing your time there. But so the best way is you ask your customers, where did you find discover my product or service? And those are the platforms you should invest in. Okay, and I think the next ones are for you. And then the last one by Benjamin is for Tyler. So yeah, Rick, please go ahead with the next three questions.
Yeah, thank you, Nat. So, what is the perform the ans someone asking what's the Performer Max? Basically, Performer Max is actually a AI powered Google Ads campaign where it let with one single campaign allow you to advertise across their Google products such as YouTube, Display, Search, Gmail, Maps, Discover. So in one single campaign, so it's very effective towards driving this awareness. All right. So the next is actually the another person asking based on the data we are seeing this more in B2C or B2B space. So the data that I have actually put on the slide earlier ago. So it's basically a blended data across the industries, across the entire space itself. All right. So it's not that specific with the data towards B2C or B2B. Yeah. So, and then the next is actually Benjamin asks, what type of business is used in Microsoft channel strategy? So, based on my experience, people who use Microsoft Edge, right? Microsoft Edge to be specific, is usually those people who are working in an office where the company already set the pre-built the Microsoft 365. They have to access the Microsoft Edge. So, or those productivity focused individuals, those are the people who generally use the Microsoft Edge. Yeah. So that's based on my experience. So for the following question, I'll just pass it to Tyler.
Ah, right. So I think Ben, it's also by Ben Teo, right? Because I realized we have two Benjamins in chat. I'm like, wait, is this the same person? No, it's not. Okay. So yeah, how would you advise to build a brand of a service in the business industry? Example, a marketer. Um, I think the main thing for B2B, right, that is the DNA that always has to stay in the content is number one, your process, your thought process, your expertise, what can you offer, what have you seen? And number two is your results. So, any case studies that people might be curious about, the experience that you have handled in the past, problems you have solved for clients, um, how much you've grown your business, for example. I think all this is at its core. The main reasons why people would even sign the service with your agency, right? Um, so even in law or legal, accountancy, doesn't matter what service you're in, it's always about process, intention, experience, and your results. That's the main thing you need to market. So I'll build your brand around those core elements, and as long as you can answer those questions, most of the time people still be continue to be interested to engage with your brand.
All right, Tyler, I think the one about offline marketing by Benjamin, I can take that one because I still
Sure.
do offline marketing. So yeah, is offline marketing still relevant in 2026? Yeah, yes, it is. It depends on your business and how your customers tend to discover your type of product or service as well. So I do notice that because with everything digital and the automation, there is starting to be a fatigue for things are digital. That I think some offline things are making a comeback. So yes, things like in B2B SaaS, for example, they for targeting enterprise clients, you don't expect them to search on Google. You need to create like events or other kind of offline offline strategies to get in touch with them and to make the connection with them. So yeah, or sometimes for some businesses, I see road shows are still very relevant. So it really depends. Yes, it is relevant, and it depends on your business. So and where do your target audience usually hang out? Okay, and the next two, do we significant? Okay, Rick, I think Rick and Tyler, maybe I'll let one of you guys answer this next one. Do we see a significant difference in digital behavior between Malaysia and Singapore? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll just take this one. Yes, sure. We do see a significance, like for example, the cultural languages. So, for example, In Malaysia, they are still, I still see some, because I'm currently based in Malaysia. So I still see some ads from time to time, which is in Chinese, Mandarin, or even in Malay. So those are the differences in terms of the languages. So the way we communicate. So yeah. And then in Malaysia is much more user-generated content. So they are more engaged with this kind of content. So as for Singapore, they are more professional. So yeah, when it comes to credibility, they would like to see data more. All right.
Yeah. And the next one by Aishikin. Okay, I can take this one because I now specialize in B2B marketing. How to start a B2B campaign if we have a niche service, so need to start more brand awareness as well as to teach people what this service is. Okay, again, my recommendation is to ask your existing pool of customers, how did they discover you? If yeah, so okay, so if let's say your for your type of service or business, a lot of people often turn to Google. It might be worth it to invest in SEM, Google Ads. SEO, usually it takes a bit more time for the results to kick in. And yeah, the more established. So if you, as a new brand, you might not see results from SEO very fast. It will take some time for you until your website is more mature for Google to be yeah, or AI engine to want to recommend it. Yeah, so but then it can go beyond digital as well. Yeah, it can. I mean, for B2B, usually Google Ads and LinkedIn are the two more advertising platforms that are. Yeah, but then you can be creative and you can go other ways. You can be you if you are good with LinkedIn content, you can try to build very good organic content that can get a lot of engagement. Yeah, there's a lot of founders nowadays that get a lot of leads from LinkedIn as well by building a lot of good content and building a founder brand. It can be through you can be creative. You can tap on referrals. Yeah, there is so many ways, and yeah, it will really depend a lot on your particular business and how your audience usually search or where they hang out. All right, last one by Benjamin. Okay, okay. So, what are the ways to find customer behavior patterns and goods or services to analyze and execute the campaign strategy for business owners? Again, okay, the best way, I've worked through many different B2B and B2C businesses. Getting feedback I find, is the best way. So in B2C, I used to interview the customers before I figure out the marketing strategy and also the messages. So based on their feedback, I would tailor the messages based on their pain points. And also, depending on where they say they find us, then I would, focus more on that channel. In B2B, if you're in B2B, interview your salespeople and account managers. Yeah, they will, for the customer's pain points, preferences, where they find a business, etc. Yeah, so I think that wraps it up for today. All right, well, thanks everyone for staying with us. So I'll be emailing everybody a recording and a copy of the slides in a couple of days. And if you want to learn more about Two Stallions, you can visit our website or follow us on LinkedIn. Yeah, and you can also subscribe to our newsletter as well if you want to get more digital marketing insights that we send every month. And yeah, and you can feel free to also connect with any of us on LinkedIn. Well, all right. Well, thanks everyone and have a good afternoon. Bye.
Right. Thanks, everyone.